think it's that easy to do it. So
$30,000 a month.
Exactly.
It's already done.
Become a millionaire at the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
What is the perfect bite? That mix of flavors, textures, colors, and aromas that come together in one amazing amuse-bouche. Big ideas expressed in small bites. That's our podcast, a variety of inspiring topics to make your financial goals and dreams a reality.
Brought to you by Clark County Credit Union for your weekly serving of food reviews, financial education, and life hacks that your future self will appreciate. It's the perfect bite of interesting information to start your week. Welcome to episode 95 of The Perfect Bite. I'm Crystal Price.
And I'm Shannon Hiller. Let's dig in. We love trying new dishes here at The Perfect Bite, and today we're talking about Farm Basket. Next, since every fifth episode we have a guest, we're happy to invite Ashley Burney, founder of Heart to Heart LLC. And finally, we'll share how to prepare kids for using social media.
Each week on The Perfect Bite, we'll visit a locally owned Southern Nevada restaurant that we hope will become your new favorite. This week, we're sharing a longtime Valley favorite, Farm Basket. They've been serving Las Vegas for over 50 years, and they have 3 locations in town, with their newest location on the east side on Nellis off of Sahara. The location that I visit was one of their oldest ones. I think it might be their first one, but I'm not sure. It's on Charleston off of Jones. Have you ever been there?
I have driven past so many times. I used to work at Jones in 95, and I've only had, people have brought me to go the food because our office is right there, but I've never gone. But I mean, it looks like the original one. Is that a nice way of saying it?
Yes, it definitely does.
It's been there for a minute.
It's been there for a long minute.
Yeah.
And if it's been there for over 50 years. Mm-hmm. And it looks like a farmhouse. I went to the drive-thru. I was on that side of town. I needed to get dinner for the night. Thinking of the podcast, I was like, I'm going to bring dinner from
We've had this on our list
Basket.
for wanting to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was with Violet, my 4-year-old, and so we went to the drive-thru, and it's really cool. So you go into what looks like a farm, like going into the farmhouse. And so I placed the order, drive into the farm, and immediately Violet's like, "Oh, I want to pet the ducks and the chickens," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, we're going into the farm." I'm like, "No, we're picking up our dinner." But it was
authentic.
Really,
that's good.
It is super authentic. The menu consists of chicken and turkey items, and very down home, kind of like KFC, but just think way better. Very popular, I think, in that area. Like you mentioned, you used to get takeout from there. I think a lot of people go there and get things to go. If you go during lunchtime, it can get very busy because people just know that's a place to go. So what I ordered from there was the 18-piece family basket. It came with 12 country rolls, and the rolls are super good. It comes with this buttery honey drizzled on top of it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it was super good. 4 large sides. My sides, I did 2 orders of fries, coleslaw, and macaroni salad. So it doesn't come with as little orders.
So that's the whole family.
Yes.
So how much
family.
Was that?
$49.99. So
crazy. That sounds like a deal now.
it is
for that many
yes,
people.
Super deal. 7 people in the family that fed us that night and leftovers for the next day. So when I brought it home, I haven't gone to Farm Basket since, I don't even know, at least 10 years. So I brought it home, and immediately my family's like, "Where did this come from? Where'd you go? What is this?" And
they liked it?
Yeah, they loved it. Going back for seconds and thirds. Where was this again? Where is this located? Charleston and Jones. They were so happy with the meal. So yeah, it was a definite win for the family. I'll have to go back again because they loved it so much. But yeah, they have a lot of classic barbecue sides, potato salad, corn on the cob, gravy, mashed potatoes. They even have cranberry sauce. So yeah, check it out. I think when I go back next time, I'm going to try their farm fries. It's a seasoned fries topped with cheese and gravy. I'm not sure about the gravy, but why not?
Yeah.
I'll check it out. And my recommendation for you is, like I mentioned before, if you come during dinner or lunchtime, just be prepared to wait. Can get pretty busy. And then just keep in mind, it is a mom and pop place, so on Sundays they are closed. So keep that in mind. If you have a recommendation for a restaurant or a dish for us to try, send us a message at ThePerfectBite@cccculv.com. We're always open to new ideas. Up next, we're excited to welcome Ashley Burney, founder and president of Heart to Heart LLC.
So since this is our 95th episode, we're happy to welcome Ashley. We always have a guest on our every 5 episodes. Heart to Heart LLC is a company that she started aimed to empower, motivate, and uplift women and the community through dialogue, events, media products, programs, and consulting opportunities. Ashley has such an array of wealth of experience. Ashley, tell us a little bit about you and how you got started and maybe some of your background so our listeners can learn more.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I think this is a phenomenal opportunity to connect with the like-minded. First of all, I applaud you guys for having this amazing podcast and getting in spaces that more need to hear what you all are talking about and being financially aware and just connecting with the like-minded. I'm huge on that. So thank you so much for having me. So yes, Heart to Heart actually, and kind of going back a little bit, thinking about how it got started and really the vision was planted in me when I was a sophomore in high school in Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. People go, "Wait, did you have moose as pets?" No, I did not have a moose as a pet, but I grew up, born and raised there. And then I actually came to Las Vegas to finish up my junior and senior year of high school. But when I was a sophomore, my dance teacher actually had us write future bios. And it stretched a lot of us because, of course, not ever having been in those spaces or those territories within your mind, right, of where you're going to go, maybe what you'll major in, but really, will it come to fruition? That was where it hit me because it did. I wrote that I wanted to major in communications. I've always felt that the industry and that field and that degree is very broad, and it allowed me to do a little bit more with it than just kind of restricting me to specific things. But I had actually wrote in my bio that I wanted to major in communications, and needless to say, several years later, moving to Las Vegas, Nevada, one extreme to the next, right? Finishing up high school at Centennial High School, go Bulldogs. I went on to CSN and then transferred to UNLV and ended up actually majoring in communications. And I love human connection. I love human communication. I feel like there is so much that we can share that will allow us to tap into one another through communication, effectively listening, not listening to respond, but listening to actually listen, right? I think that can go into several podcast episodes, but that I've always really been huge on that. And so to get my degree, my undergrad at UNLV, I then a few years later went on to get a certificate in diversity, equity, and inclusion from Cornell, because again, it's really being the sponge and wanting to learn and really being able to see where there are loopholes. And so again, the human connection, the tapping into one another, communications has always been my thing. And so I've been asked a lot, maybe down the line, would I want to go into journalism, media, broadcast? Maybe so. I don't know, maybe another lifetime. I don't know. We just kind of want to, I always say, be where your feet are. Because sometimes we can get so ahead in thinking about what we want to do, where we actually miss the things and being in the seasons that we pray for. So Heart to Heart actually came from, obtaining my degree and noting that that's what I wanted to do. I was able to go on and get that and start an organization that I'm so proud through this journey that I took the step to do that. So,
were you a military family?
Yes, so my father was military, yes, which is why we ended up in Alaska.
Yeah.
I just want to get to Alaska.
That's my husband's family too. They were in Alaska, and then they went to New Mexico and then Las Vegas.
Okay,
so I'm like, that's usually why people would make such a crazy jump.
I was born in New Mexico, and then we came to Las Vegas and stayed in Las Vegas Air Force.
Oh,
my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Small world.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Well, that's amazing. We need more people like you in our community. Thank you for all that you're doing. We did happen to notice that your husband, Sean, is also involved in the nonprofit. So that's a whole other podcast discussion too, how to work with your spouse. But
absolutely,
how did he get involved, and maybe what are the roles that you guys each share?
Yes, and my husband, we're high school sweethearts. Literally, I've been with him since I was a freshman in high school. So to have him along this journey and to be in love, and to be able to support each other in what we want to do, it's really a beautiful thing. My husband's he's a casino exec with Caesars Entertainment. He actually started when our son was newborn. So our son will be 19 in June. And so to see him love his passion and love what he does, and he's amazing at it, being married to a woman that says, I want to do this and I want to do this, I want to do this, to say that I support you in those endeavors, but to show me. And so he actually is our managing partner for Heart to Heart, and he handles all of our marketing, our branding, the consistent messaging, which I'll talk about later down in the podcast. But more so, his support is for, I don't have to hire anyone else. He does that, and he has a huge load, and I love and appreciate him, because sometimes my timeline can be, I needed that 2 weeks ago, and he has a full-time job. So it is coming home, switching hats, and being in this season of parenting where our oldest is wrapping up his first year of college and really wanting to be present and our platform be at its largest to date, because I really believe it's going to continue to grow and impact lives. But it's interesting working with your spouse, because you also have to have grace and you have to have patience. And as the business evolves, then taking on the new dynamics of what that looks like. So he's amazing.
Will you just tell us, like, in a nutshell, what is Heart to Heart? What is its mission?
So Heart to Heart,
skipped over that.
Absolutely. So Heart to Heart aims to empower, motivate, and uplift women in the community through dialogue, events, podcasts, opportunities, consulting opportunities. And so within Heart to Heart, we actually have several layers, also programs. So we have a youth empowerment program where we serve the community's most at-risk schools. We actually have served 3,700 kids to date, which we're really excited about. We have our lifestyle brand, which is called Your Bold is Beautiful. So you'll see more of our lifestyle brand in the community through our major events. So like our annual event is called Your Bold is Beautiful. So we tied in a component last year where we actually had a men's panel. And that's because my husband, Sean, was seeing that we were gathering as women and we were talking about things that men want to talk about too. And so we had a panel, and it was just really cool. But yeah, so that's what Heart to Heart is.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing that I wanted to see, and one reason that I really wanted you to come on today, was that you have your own business. You're stepped out into this entrepreneur world. And what I've noticed a lot is, like, on social media, people talk about how easy it is to just like start your own business, just like go out there and it's so easy. Like, just, go on Amazon and sell this product and do this and do that. And, just start your own LLC. And I don't think it's that easy to do it. So
$30,000 a month.
Exactly.
It's already done. Become a millionaire at the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
So what do you say to that? And if you could go back and say to your, give advice to your younger self, what would that advice be?
So first I have to say is being an entrepreneur is not an easy road. It is not an easy road. It's not for the faint. And I really believe you have to be called. Many are called, but few are chosen. And what I mean by that is that it's the daily grind in evolving, staying fresh to your audience, being true to yourself. I always say that the easier way to fail is when people try to be everything to everyone and they forget where their gift needs to lie. And so I work really diligently on knowing my passions, feeling my passions, and staying true to myself, because then I can be my best self to then be able to execute what I say I do. And so I feel like a lot of people, they see these trends and they see all the things on social, and I call it the fluff. I call it the end result, because people don't see the behind the scenes. There is no such thing as no 9 to 5 when you have when you're an entrepreneur. I mean, I literally have a journal on my nightstand, because sometimes in the middle of the night I wake up and I have an idea and I'm like, oh, okay. As I'm like literally coming to, let me write it down. And I'll wake up sometimes, I won't even have remembered that I woke up because I was in a deep sleep. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay. So products, branding, I'll just have words. And then it's like, oh, well, then I need to be able to start putting some vision and plant the seed and water it. So
I send myself an email.
Absolutely. Or even text yourself.
Like,
yes. And oh my gosh, texting myself and writing me a note and sending myself emails. And then I go back to it and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I know what you were talking about. When you either talk to somebody or you were inspired. So people they see the fluff, they see the end result, but they don't see the grind. I mean, and as you mentioned earlier, working with my husband, I'll have these ideas and sometimes I'll call him and it's like midday and I'm like, honey. And he's like, yes, honey. And I'm like, okay, I know it's not the right time, but I'll call you back. But I'll text you. I just have to say it, And I'm just like, okay, Ashley. So now we've gotten better because it's now where we have a standing meeting on the weekends.
Okay.
Where I wake up, I make him coffee, and I'm ready. I'm ready to hit him with like 2 pages of
board
notes.
Meeting every Saturday.
It's a board meeting. So literally it's, we've gotten creative, but it's when people get caught up in trying, like I said, trying to be everything to everyone, and they lose sight of their why as well. Mm-hmm. You have to keep your why close. And if you don't, then you're gonna drift off into different areas that you shouldn't be. Stay true to who you are and know that it's an uphill. It's an uphill battle. And I say battle just because you have to be willing to change and learn and be a sponge and invest in yourself. And that's where I know we'll talk about it down the line, but they see the end result, but they don't see the behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, most small businesses fail.
Right.
And we have many small businesses here at the credit union that have their accounts here or loans, and the finances is such a huge part, right? You can't keep doing, we've talked about even as a credit union, like we have a mission that we're focused on, people helping people and helping them with their financial goals and dreams. And we can't do that unless our business is doing well. So it's like, we can't do good unless we're doing well, right?
Exactly.
So what kind of financial challenges or maybe obstacles that you didn't foresee came up with your business from a financial perspective?
Initially, I didn't know what to expect because when I said that this is what I wanted to do, and going back a little bit and how Heart to Heart started, I was working for the school district at the time, and I was the dean's secretary, and I would start to see frequent flyers and the same kiddos who needed a little bit more assistance. So that's actually where it originated from, is seeing that there was a need and then starting an after-school program.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it then grew into 120, 160 kids after school. And we're talking about the drugs, the sex, the alcohol, the peer pressures, the dislikes, the likes, career interests. I had guest speakers come in and all the things. And I was funding it my own. I mean, I had to literally, it was buying them snacks. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have about 160 kids today, 180 kids today. To questions being asked.
The school didn't?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No. So I was like, I know there's a need. These are the same kids who you send to the dean's office, and then you wonder how they were able to go from 100 to 2 and be back in class, is because they were facing so many things that it didn't allow them to tap into the space of being present in class. Mm. So they would act out.
Yeah.
And so they would come to Miss Bernie, and then, like I said, I created the charter, all of the curriculum, and I didn't have any financial support. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And at the time, it actually ignited something within to tap into community, which I'll get into that later, of I need help. These are kids who just need a little bit more help and guidance. So the financial hurdles of starting a business, there is no book that can literally, there's no book out there that says, here's the A to Z of starting a business. I knew that it was something that I wanted to do once I had left the district, and more schools were actually wanted to pilot the program. And because I left the district, I was like, ooh, it's my baby. Like, I don't know if I'm not there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the messaging or the vision will be brought to life. So later down the line, as it evolved, I then wanted to start an LLC. So when I started, again, I had no clue. I was like, okay, license. Okay, I'm going to go LegalZoom. LegalZoom, they do a great job. All in one-stop shop. We're easy. We're quick. And I'm like, okay, great. So I reached out to them, said this is what I wanted to do. And my husband, with the business background, we were able to, create our vision statement, our mission statement, know who our audience is, and all the things that you should know, but you may not know, right? All up front. So LegalZoom was a great help. I can say that. But it was fast.
Not
it
a sponsor.
Was easy.
No.
Right. Not a sponsor. Talk to me if you want to talk
yet.
about sponsorship. Yeah, but some of those hurdles in getting started were the unforeseen and unknown expenses. So for the license, going through LegalZoom, I actually got the next tier because I was like, I really want to make sure I'm handed off right. Then to go through the state of Nevada to file your business license. So really, from a financial perspective, it's the things that I didn't know, which now I have down, and I actually help those who are starting a business and knowing what route to go, because I wish somebody would have said, hey, Ash, like, here's here's a
Here's what I
go-to.
learned.
Here's what I learned. You know, so,
And this is not what they're saying on TikTok or Instagram.
Exactly. Oh, they're not. They're not. And I think I need to start TikTok about that.
You
because it's
probably
like,
should.
oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, you're not talking about that part.
No.
Yeah.
And I did want to give you some props because this was something that I saw on your bio. You've received, your business has received the 2022 Tulips Mentoring Agency of the Year Award. You have been listed as Vegas Inc. and Las Vegas Weekly Top 40 Under 40 honoree. You've also been a My Vegas Magazine Top 100 Women of the Year, along with various other awards. So you've really accomplished a lot being an entrepreneur. You've put in the work and it shows.
I'm very humbled. And, you know, I really believe it. And one of the questions that had come up was, seeing and knowing and feeling at what point has it been made worth it. And it's been impact. It's impact. I have literally walked into rooms, and that's actually my prayer every day, is that I walk into spaces where my name has been mentioned, and it stands on strong character. It stands on someone who's willing to adapt and to be able to help and really want to just inspire and uplift despite the daily struggles that we as individuals have. So I'm very honored. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what are some of the key lessons that you've learned about managing your finances and cash flow as being a business owner?
Using platforms can make your life so easy. So for example, when I first started off, I was having these events and such and handling cash and all the things, and small but mighty team. Okay. So my team, it consists of like my children and my husband and all the things. So I'm like, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is your role and everything. So it really has inspired them in their own ways. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But for example, we use ticketing platforms like RSVPify, Eventbrite, Square, all of the platforms that are made to make your life easier. Some folks they just haven't got with it for whatever reason, And I feel like one of the reasons could be fees.
Okay.
You literally, fees are going to be fees. They're going to take their cut and you're going to move on. And honestly, I'd rather take the fee than you get in your cut than me doing something the wrong way or not being able to have the right accounting for when you have to make that move and do taxes. I mean, there are things that count on you doing and moving the right way. And so we shifted away from doing like, we're cashless events. Like we use the tap your card here, you know, go on about here. It gives you use the platforms that are there to make your life easier than going against the grain. We actually got on board probably like the second or third year of business because I was like, this is receipts and stuff. Oh, no. Email, electronic, you insert your card. It gives you the receipt right away. It can start a refund process. It goes right back to it's just people that have their own theories of why to not do something. Do your homework. Yeah. Do your homework.
We tell our commercial members all that time, like we have these services here for a reason.
Just do it.
Reach out. Nike, services.
Nike. Yes. Just do it.
Plug. Not a sponsor yet.
Yeah.
So you mentioned talking about, how you know that it's worth it. Is there a meaningful milestone for your business that maybe you guys set a goal and achieved, or is there something that you're looking forward to accomplishing?
I think it's been what we've seen happen. In starting the after school program, I would have never known that it would have now impacted 3,700 kids, from scholarships to, I was just at an award ceremony last week. The Public Ed Foundation, they had given 2 students who have really faced some significant challenges. One was in the foster care system, separated from his siblings, all the things. He was given $100,000.
Oh my gosh.
I pray one day that I can say on behalf of Heart to Heart, we have now contributed to something that without that money, and they asked the question, they were like, now that you've gotten this, he was speechless. There was no family there. It was staff.
Oh, wow.
His support system. And I'm like, for what you have faced and you're 18 years old going off to college, and to know that you will have no debt is amazing. Because I always tell my kids, I'm like, I grew up in a single parent home and I had to put myself through college, and I signed for 30 and I'm paying on 63. I haven't been selected, to get my debt wiped out. Hint, hint. But, you know, it's like, choose me because, and again, it's being of service and giving of yourself and doing all the things. But maybe one day I'll be able to say that we would have contributed to something bigger than us. But it's been the impact, I believe, that those kids without our programs and knowing that they're not their situations. Their everyday lives, right? You're more than that. So I think from the impact from our youth empowerment program to our annual Your Bold is Beautiful Women's Empowerment Summit, it started off here at a local pub, and now we're taking over 20,000 square foot buildings, and people are traveling from across the U.S. to come to the conference. It really is who believes in you, who wants to be a part of the magic that happens in that safe space. But it's been been able to look at the success to go, man, I never thought, just trying to be present and in the day and where my feet are down the line, like for it to take over a casino space. And that's my prayer, is that it's going to be sold out. We've taken over. And why? Because those have gotten on board to say I want my life to be impacted as well. So it's a success.
That's amazing. So if someone wants to find out more, where do they go? How do they?
So follow us. We're on Instagram, Heart to Heart LLC. We also have Your Bold is Beautiful. There's an underscore in between each word. I'm very transparent. Follow me at Successful One, but also more on our offerings, our programs, how to get involved, how to change a life, how to be a part of the magic. Go to hearttoheartspeaks.com. So HeartToHeartSpeaks.com.
All right,
and we'll be sure to tag
we'll
you
link you.
when we do that as well. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us. But before you go, as we do with all of our guests, we have 2 questions we like to ask everyone. The first one is, what piece of financial advice would you give to anyone that they could start tomorrow to improve their finances immediately?
Yeah, so I would say one piece is, don't feel as if you have to quit your 9 to 5. So many people think that in order to start my business, I needed to step away from, no, use it as seed money. My story is a little different just because I actually started off, when I started my business, I did have the 9 to 5, and then I was impacted by COVID. And when that happened, I was laid off. And so God just has a way of doing things with Ashley. I literally have no control. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to step into spaces that I want to build on. And so I had to do things a little bit different. But don't feel as if you have to quit your 9 to 5 to start your business. Also, start it the right way. So when you start your business, separate your business and your personal accounts. You don't want to mix the two when it comes time for tax purposes and all the things. You just want to do it the right way. And when you set up these accounts, they'll ask you things like, what are your EIN? So you can't do one before you do the other. Hint, hint. So make sure you start off with the first steps of filing for your business, getting it coded, and having your NAICS code, which is the North American Industry Classification code, which is being able to collect and analyze data the right way. But you're going to get all of this stuff, and then you're going to file for your account. But never wanting to mix, the business and pleasure and doing things the right way. And you'll thank me later for that. But I would say also just stay true to who you are.
Excellent advice.
Yeah. Stay true to who you are.
Thank you.
All right. Well, since we do cover local restaurants, we're a local credit union. We like to focus on our valley here. What is your favorite locally owned restaurant, and what do you like to order when you go?
So I'm going to shout out 2 phenomenal women that truly are movers and shakers in our community. And I think they're at their 7th or 8th restaurant. And they were actually denied. And I always look to people who inspire and who are very transparent as well. They actually were denied getting space for their first restaurant. And now they're on their 7th. So Alex and Lynn, shout out to you guys at Café Lola. You ladies are amazing. I would say my go-to is the grilled cheese sandwich with the tomato bisque soup. And they have such fun drinks as well. So
they do.
I mean, lattes they even have mimosas. What? I mean, they always keep it fun, but it's a whole vibe. And
Princess Cafe.
Women own. Yes. It's just awesome. So that's my go-to.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, Ashley.
Yes. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me.
Now we're going to take a break to hear from our sponsor.
CCCU has a bonus for you. High five! It's 5% interest on a bonus checking account, only available at Clark County Credit Union. That's 5% on your money, and it's just one more benefit of membership at Clark County Credit Union. Isn't it time for you to join? Anyone can be a member, because if somebody's making money off your checking account, shouldn't it be you? Open a bonus checking account today and start earning your 5%, only at CCCU. Funds privately insured by American Share Insurance.
Next up is our Future Self segment inspired by the Happiness Project. Preparing kids for social media use involves educating them about its benefits and risks and establishing guidelines for safe and healthy usage. Here are some steps for parents to take to help prepare their kids to get online. The first thing you can do is start with education. You want to teach your kids about the purpose and function of social media platforms. It's used to help connect people, share information, and engage with others. You also want to help them understand that there are positive aspects like connecting with their grandparents or friends who may have moved to other states. And you also want to make them aware of potential risks like cyberbullying or exposure to inappropriate content. I know we both have kids. Mm-hmm. Did you warn them of any of those things before they got onto social media, or are they on social media?
Yeah, so I'm following the delay is the way model.
Okay.
So I don't want them to never have social media because that's not really realistic. You know, we're going to be in this society where we all have social media, and even now the kids are like, we don't give each other phone numbers anymore. We just ask for your Instagram account, and that's how we contact, right? I waited as long as I could. My daughter was almost 16 when she got Instagram, and we have rules about me following her, and she has to show me her account so I can see if she has like a fake Instagram or not. And she's like, well, I wouldn't do that. And I go, but all your friends do, so I'm just going to check, because they post stuff too on these. Everyone has a fake Instagram, Finsta. Mm-hmm. And we also talk about using the algorithm. You know, we're in marketing, so I'm like, I got to use my knowledge here. Using the algorithm to our benefit. So the first time they look at something, you're teaching Instagram you like that.
Yes.
And I also tell my daughter, stop liking so many things, because then you're given so many suggestions of other things. So like, you know, she likes one thing for Taylor Swift, and now everything is that. That's fine. But if she engages with content that's not appropriate, now you're going to get all that content too. So I actually made her do a PowerPoint presentation to get permission for it. And I asked her to go through and research specifically issues for young girls with body image and confidence before she was allowed to get it. And I said, you have to tell me negatives, and if you can find positives about social media, then you can. And those things you mentioned, connection with the bullying, but also like there were positive things. Like I sometimes am always focused on the negative of it because I'm so worried about them, what they're going to be exposed to. Yeah. But there's connections with individuals, people that they don't get to see often. Yeah. Her cousins in Texas and California can see what they're doing. I mean, there's so many relationship building. It's a tool, and we just need to use it appropriately. So again, not trying to make my kids be like, I'm the only kid, my 14-year-old. I'm the only one that doesn't have Instagram. I'm like, sorry. So it's tough. Education is key. I definitely agree with that.
And I do agree on the connection part. My son, they have a friend that moved away when they were like in 5th grade, and he moved to like Tennessee, and they were able to stay in contact through Instagram. And so now they're in high school, and they still stay in contact with the same friend through Instagram, and then of course like through video games and stuff. But it's nice to hear, little updates on what he's doing, and then when he comes back into town to visit his family, they can still get together on that weekend or whatever. But it's through Instagram, not through text. The next thing you can do to help prepare kids to get online is make them understand that social media is not private and it is forever. I think we take this for granted a lot of the time, even adults, honestly. A child may think that if they have less followers or comments in a private Facebook group, that what they say is protected, but that's never the case. Dr. Tara L. Conley, assistant professor in the School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University and Race and Technology practitioner fellow at Stanford University. long title, described social media as a public park. And she said, what you say and do can be observed by anyone looking or passing by, and sometimes those observing could be future employers or people who have vested interest in you. Mm-hmm. This is something that we actually tell people in our new hire presentations, that, you know, you never know who's watching, and it could be your future HR person who's ready to give you that job. Maybe just casually you post something online, and next thing you know, there goes the job offer. Yeah. So you want to just be aware.
So like just recently we have a new coach for my daughter.
Okay.
And I decided to do a little online sleuthing and looked him up, because it's like, who is this new person who's going to be an influential leader in my daughter's life potentially, right? If she plays again. And so definitely finding older posts that he's put out there that's just totally public, and kind of like getting a feel for what he's like, good and bad, right? And so you never know what someone's going to be looking back however many years or checking out. And then I also talked to my kids about, you might talk about this later, but screenshots. So, you know, we have Snapchat, we have things that disappear completely, even stories, they don't last very long, they go away. No, like anyone can take a screenshot.
Even I do that.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes be on social and I'll see something, I'll screenshot it real quick and then, you know, send it to family members. Honestly, you know, did you see this? So-and-so, you know, cousin so-and-so said this, and, you know.
Yep. So you're right. It lasts forever.
It lasts forever. Be careful. Next thing is, if in doubt, don't send it. Kids may think of Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram as outlets to share their vulnerable thoughts or emotions. For example, if they're upset with a friend, it's best to advise them to share those feelings somewhere else, or to have a private conversation with their friend. Think back to what Dr. Conley said, social media as a public park. We can't trust every human in the public park of the internet to understand and support us. So if you can't say it to somebody's face, don't say it online. And the next thing is to be a part of your child's social media experience. Like Shannon said, you know, she is on her daughter's social medias, same thing as me. I follow my children. They follow me as well. We know what's going on in our children's lives. We recommend you do the same thing. Be aware of what's going on. Sarah Dumoff, associate professor at Central Michigan University, who specializes in kids and social media, she suggests that parents should check in with their kids or have conversations about their experiences interacting with their friends online. That's also important. How do they interact with one another? Having these one-on-one conversations with our kids can also help them navigate through tough situations where they may be harmed by what a misguided kid has posted or sent them.
I just want to put a plug in for an account I follow on Instagram. It's called ProtectYoungEyes. Ooh. And it's a really good resource. They share a lot of information. They actually talk about the work they're doing, like in Congress, to pass certain laws and make sure that there are states that are actually saying, like, you have to verify that you're 18 to get certain access. And like, these apps don't care about how old you are. You can put in whatever age you are, and then now you're exposed to different levels of content. So there are states passing certain laws, they're lobbying for those kind of things, but they also share really great tips for parents who are concerned about it, because it is an exhausting, never-ending job if you really are like checking this stuff. So just check it out.
Cool. Violet actually has on her app, there's some games that where, you know, for the most part, she can download almost anything, but there are certain ones that are age restricted. And in order to get it, she has to do like simple math. It'll be like, what's 6 + 2? And if she doesn't know the answer, she can't download it. And she'll be like, Mommy, what's this? And I'm like, oh, what are you trying to download? And like, oh yeah, no, you're not doing it. So if she knows 6 + 2, then it's appropriate. So I really like that. And so it's really important. Your children will soon become young adults, so don't wait to teach them on the risks of the internet. There's many benefits, but there are also risks as well. We want to hear from you. Send us your financial questions or money topics that you'd like to learn more about, and don't forget any fun local food recommendations. Our email is ThePerfectBite@CCCULV.com.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode, brought to you by Clark County Credit Union. For additional money management tips and financial calculators, check out our website at ccculv.org. Now that was The Perfect Bite.